Today is May 7th, 2024, and I have finished and platinumed Stellar Blade. I have a lot to talk about this game, but to be blunt, it is simply fantastic. Is it a masterpiece? No, but I still think it is worth giving a shot at some point. This game is very gameplay focused, so of course I'll start off talking about that. This game is an action RPG heavily inspired by games like Devil May Cry, Souls-likes, and Nier. The main question I see people ask about this game is how much of a Souls-like it is, and ultimately I think that it is very far from it. It's certainly not a game meant to make you rage, nor is it hard most of the time. There are some challenging sections, especially later on in the game, but on your first playthrough you should have quite the simple and straightforward experience. It is only similar to Souls-likes in how the combat is structured. You'll be doing a lot of slashing and dodging just like a Souls-like, but you also have a lot of deep combos to use, similar to a game like Devil May Cry and Nier. There are also camps to rest at, which replenish your health, and items which are similar to bonfires in Dark Souls or sites of grace in Elden Ring, so I understand the comparisons. However, it is really not a difficult game at all. Besides combat though, this game honestly has a lot of variety. You'll be doing a lot of puzzles, platforming, fishing, there's a gun you can use instead of your sword, and there's even like a sick high-speed skating section during parts of this game, and it's just absolutely amazing. I love it. But unfortunately, this is where some of the problems in this game start. It tries to do a lot, and sometimes it just doesn't stick the landing, quite literally. The platforming in this game is terrible. It's clunky, it's floaty, I never land where I want to land. Some of the hardest parts in this game were simply just jumping from platform to platform, and for some reason there's a lot of it. Can't believe I missed that. Bro! Oh, thanks. It's actually really helpful, assuming I don't fall. Come on! Yeah, it's bad. I had to play this game 3 times to get the platinum, and I was never able to do the platforming very well on any of my playthroughs. So that's like my one complaint about the gameplay. Lastly, for anyone wondering or if you played the demo, this game is set up for half of it to be linear sections where you go through a level fighting enemies and bosses until you get to the end, which is pretty much the typical stuff. And there's small open world sections similar to how God of War works, where you get side quests in a more open section to explore and do things in the order that you want to. The side quests are actually pretty good for the most part. Some of them are pretty rough fetch quests where you go from just point A to point B, but honestly a lot of them are pretty cool and have you explore areas and fight enemies you wouldn't otherwise. Plus, some of the more relevant side quests have fully animated cutscenes just like the main storyline, which is definitely welcome. A lot of this side content also unlocks a lot of cool stuff as well, such as outfits, accessories, and new gear, and there's a lot of it. There's over 70 different costumes and accessories for you to unlock, and they're all pretty unique. It's super impressive. The biggest issue in this game overall is probably the story, and more specifically the voice acting. At times the voice acting is straight up bad. I feel like for the most part the main character, Eve, and one of her companions, Lily, do a great job. They're not perfect and they're certainly not winning any awards, but they get the job done when it comes to emotional and serious moments throughout the story. However, another main character, Adam, and a ton of different side characters have very dry delivery of their lines to a point where they almost sound like they don't even want to be there. And this is a problem because, believe it or not, this game deals with a lot of dark subject matter, and when your voice acting doesn't hit, it's hard for the players to get invested. Ultimately though, you might want to know what this game is even about. It's a lot deeper than it seems and it's very hard to explain without getting into spoilers, but essentially Earth has been taken over by these disgusting insect-like monsters called Naytiba. And you play as Eve, an airborne squadron member who is tasked with taking out the Elder Naytiba and taking back the planet for the human race. There's a lot of twists and turns within the story, and I am a huge fan of sci-fi and cyberpunk, so this story still hit for me on a personal level. It does a great job with world building, and it just looks so awesome at all times. I love it so much. I'm gushing, but I truly do. And if you like sci-fi and cyberpunk genres as much as me, I feel like you might still love the story. It takes a lot of inspiration from Nier, but also the developers have noted that it has taken a lot of inspiration from Gun M, aka Battle Angel Alita, which is a manga from the 90s. That manga was also adapted into one of my favorite movies ever in 2019, simply called Alita Battle Angel. If you haven't seen that, please watch it. Don't look at the reviews, just take my word for it, please. But yeah, this is basically the Alita Battle Angel video game that I never got and never will. Lastly, I unfortunately do not like the ending. It's hard for me to explain why without spoilers. Maybe I'll do another video on it. But all I can say is that I feel like they left me out to dry a bit, and I didn't feel enough closure. It's genuinely very hard for me to give this game a final score. For me, there was a lot to love, and they outweighed the cons. But I'm not everyone, and I can see why a lot of people could dislike a lot of aspects of this game. This is a game that is tailored almost exactly to what I want out of a game, and it hit at just the right moment. But to look at it through a critical eye, I think I could settle on giving this game an 8 out of 10. But this is an impressive effort for this being the studio's first game of this caliber, and I look forward to whatever they make next. But one thing's for sure, this is a certified Darwin Cooper classic.
Darwin Cooper does it best.